All right, I'm gonna have you raise your hand right now if you're tired. All right, if you actually raise your hand, you're watching a video and you should probably find some friends. But I feel like if everyone in the class was in a classroom, everyone would be raising their hands, right? Um, or at least thought about being tired. Let me ask you this: have you ever read the same sentence, two or three times and had no idea what it said, or sat in class staring at the professor, pretending to take notes, but your brain checked out 20 minutes ago? I don't think that's just you. I think that's just college. Okay. Like today, I'm gonna argue something simple but powerful. I think naps should be completely mandatory in college, not as like a luxury, but as a tool for academic success. We're gonna go over three things: why college students are constantly exhausted, how naps actually improve performance, and why naps don't waste time. They can actually save it. By the end, I want you to seriously consider this. Maybe you don't need more studying, maybe you just need a nap. So, the first thing, college students are exhausted. Any friend that I've talked to, then it's like, how's college? And it's like, well, I'm tired. And it's because classes are early in the morning. Homework is usually done late at night, and they're, part time, full time jobs. And somehow you still try and have a social life. Sleep becomes the first thing to sacrifice. But here's the problem. I don't think being tired doesn't just feel bad. I think it directly ties to performance. When you're sleep deprived, you your focus drops, your memory weakens, your reaction time slows, and everything feels harder than it should. That's why simple assignments sometimes feel like they take forever, and why studying feels like a grind, and sometimes motivation just disappears. So if exhaustion is a problem, then what do we do about it, right? Um, I think naps can improve performance, right? Naps aren't just rest, they're a performance tool. Research on sleep constantly shows that even with short naps, that you can get improved memory, increased alertness, it can boost your mood, and then cognitive function will sharpen. In other words, naps can make your brain work better. I'd like to think about it like this, right? If your phone is at 5% battery, you wouldn't try you wouldn't try to keep using it, right? Or some of us do, but you charge it, right? When your brain's at 5%, do you just keep pushing? That doesn't really make sense. A 20 to 30 minute nap can reset your focus, help you absorb information faster, and make studying more efficient. So instead of taking 2 hours of half focused, you could spend 1 hour completely locked in. I don't think this should be considered laziness. I think this is more like optimization, right? Naps can save time. One of the biggest objections that I hear is I don't have time for a nap. I think that's a little backward. I don't have the time not to nap. If you don't have time, I feel like college is all about managing time, right? You've got homework, you've got work, social, any responsibilities you're working on. When you're tired, everything takes longer, right? Reading, assignments, even basic thinking takes longer. But when you're rested, it's the exact opposite, right? You can process the information faster, you can make fewer mistakes, you can work harder. So yes, you might lose 30 minutes to a nap, but I think you gain back hours in productivity. Think of it more of an investment and not necessarily a cost. I think naps should be normalized. There's definitely a culture, and I'm part of it, right? Where naps equate to being lazy, right? And being exhausted equals hardworking, right? If it's oh, I'm exhausted, then it's well, obviously you're doing something. But in reality, if you think about athletes and high performers, they need rest to perform better, right? And I think your brain is no different. If naps were normalized, even built into your schedule, students would feel less guilt. I think mental health would improve, academic performance would increase. Instead, if instead of just pushing through the exhaustion, I think if we actually worked with how our brains function, I think college would feel a lot more manageable. So let's bring it all together, right? The college students are always tired. I'm part of that, and sleep is such an important part of your body's natural courses. The exhaustion hurts focus, it hurts memory, it hurts performance, and naps improve how your brain works. And I think instead of wasting time, they actually save it. And yet, I feel like sometimes naps are treated like a bad habit, when in reality, I think they are one of the most simple, most effective tools for college success. Thanks.